What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. Just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 30 in total. And the offer ends at the end of March. Anyways, as far as Tesla's going, Tesla's down 0.7% despite the fact that the market is flat. It's a little bit in the green for SPY in the S&P 500, but the QQQ is kind of flat, down about 0.2%. Tesla is still underperforming because it got this nice little pump to start things off exactly as we predicted. But instead of holding above its key support right over here, this is this blue trend line, Tesla got a rejection again. And if anything, we're actually below our 50 EMA at 413.87. Because we're below this, this is not the best of signs for Tesla, and it is favoring downside a little bit more. So you want to be careful with Tesla right now. The question now remains what's happening with the markets. I just wanted to say that we had Donald Trump giving a speech at the World Economic Forum. He talked a lot about the U.S.'s foreign affairs, global politics, and the things that he typically says. So he didn't say anything that was new. We actually knew a lot about that. But as he spoke, the market started pumping quite a bit. That helped the market pump, but Tesla underperformed despite that. And then I just want to add that there's nothing else that's too significant that's coming out for the rest of the day. Much of the data is out. So just keep that in mind. As far as Tesla's going, just know there is weakness right here relative to the markets. Unless Tesla could try to reclaim 416, it's now favoring the downside. And we're going to be watching to see if 410 holds us or not. If we lose 410, there's going to be a risk of us dumping to about 406, then 402, as we have an imbalance all the way down here. The downside looks a bit more imminent as we have a left shoulder, a head, and then a right shoulder. I was talking about this since yesterday as I had a warning about Tesla, and you have to keep that in mind. As far as SPY is going, we were in a very, very choppy phase today. Just know that we have this chop zone between 608 and 604. If you look at what happened back in December, SPY was just going back and forth between these levels for quite a while. So just know that for today, okay, SPY hit 607.8, a little bit below 608, and now we're just trading sideways in this range. We're watching to see if 607 holds, but right now we're in a very, very sideways channel. However, I just want to make it very, very clear that if SPY does end up losing 605, so there's going to be a risk of this dumping all the way down to fill its gap at 603 or below. We are holding up well, at least to some extent right now because of Trump's speech. But just know that we're in a range right now. We haven't broken 608s to turn super bullish. We're not breaking all-time highs yet. We're testing near them, but we're in this chop zone, and there is a risk of us returning below 607 again. If that fails us, we're looking to see if 605 holds us. And if that doesn't hold, we could be turning back down. It's also worth mentioning that the QQQ is underperforming compared to SPY. Notice that this dumped really hard all the way down to about 528. It got bought back up to about 530. And if we reject here, we could be dipping back down to where this gap is, taking us down to about 527. So be very careful with this, at least as time goes on. If we try to reclaim 533, we could bounce. And if we can't, this could be dipping even lower all the way down to 524. So be careful with the QQQ. Notice on the Russell 2000, we have an inverse cup and handle-like structure. We still have this gap down here. We did rebound thanks to Trump's speech. Now we're slowing a bit, so this could slow down back down to 227. And if we lose that, we're looking for 225, so keep that in mind. For ES, we're in this chop zone. We're just at the lower end of it. That tends to be between 61.35 and about 61.60. So we're stuck in between. If we can't hold above our key levels, this could be returning to 6100 flats or below. So keep that in mind. For NQ, we need to try to hold above 22,000. Even after Trump's speech, we were not able to get back above it. So it's showing a little bit of weakness here. If we can't get back above 22,000, we could be tipping back down to 21,800 or below. So just keep that in mind. Bitcoin tried to balance, but notice we're in a range on Bitcoin. We love to reject between 106 and 108,000. And we like to get bought back up around 101,000. We're just going back and forth between these levels. This is starting to dip a bit, so it could be retesting 102,000. So just keep that in mind. For Nvidia, we started off with the dip. We did dip quite a bit, then we came back up to fill this gap. Notice that we weren't able to break past 147 to remain super bullish, but simultaneously, we haven't really lost 144 to turn bearish. We're still stuck in this range. We could be dipping a little bit lower as time goes on, though, if we want to watch these key levels. If 144 fails us, we're just stuck in the middle for now, so I'm going to give this some time to develop. But we're going to be watching to see how this ends up moving. We could be establishing a high here, come down, make a lower high before we start to dip again. But it depends on if the market gets a little slowdown. It is starting to slow down just a bit, so just be very careful. As far as Apple goes, we're rejecting off our key EMAs. We pushed very nicely to 226, only to reject. So we're going to be watching to see if we could hold 220 or not. We have a range between 220 and 226. For a few more, we have Coinbase. Coinbase pumped very nicely to about 300, but just notice that we're not doing the best of jobs at holding above it. So this could be returning back down to about the 290 area. Amazon pumped very, very nicely to 235, and now we're dipping to about 233. So this is our range. If we lose 233, we turn bearish, and there is a risk of us retesting that or losing that. Meta pushed about 630 only to reject, so it could be retesting 625. Microsoft is dipping right here. We're looking for a test of 442. If that fails us, we're looking for 440. And then Google is also trading sideways, but it could be dipping closer to about 200. We weren't able to break past 202 quite yet, so be a little bit careful with this. So I just want to give you guys a warning about how things are looking. So what is my view of Tesla and the market? Like I said, the market is, it started off with a small push, but we're in a shop zone. But Tesla, of all things, is showing relative weakness because we're not holding above our key 50 EMA. And also this trend line right over here, this blue trend line, we're below it. This is a sign that Tesla has a head and shoulders, and there's going to be a risk of downside, especially if we end up losing 410. Thank you for listening, guys. Have a good day, and peace out.